Hey everybody, welcome back to another 10-minute Marvel video. I'm Petter, and today, you can see over here, we have something Fantastic Four related. We have the first synopsis for the Fantastic Four First Steps. Let me just read through this and then talk about kind of the elements of it that are maybe the most interesting here. Get into my best voice. Set against a world of vibrant backdrop. Wow. Let's try that again. Set against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s inspired retro futuristic world, forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, the Fantastic Four must defend the Earth from the ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer. And if Galactus's plans to devour the entire planet and everyone in it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. Alright, so now that I'm done doing a silly reading voice there, let's talk about what's new, what we already knew, and maybe the most interesting bit on here. Honestly, most of this we already knew. We knew that this was going to be a retro-futuristic 1960s setting. Okay, all of that we expected. The artwork, everything they've done, has set that up for us at this point. We also knew Galactus was going to be the big bad in this, so it's interesting. I mean, for the Fantastic Four, it makes sense to start with Galactus or Doom as your big bad. Though, I will point out, in this here, they call Galactus, the sentence, or the part of the sentence here, the Fantastic Four must defend the Earth from the ravenous space god called Galactus. Now, that might just be their understanding of Galactus, but generally Galactus isn't considered to be like a deity in Marvel Comics. It is more an entity, being more on kind of line with the Celestials in terms of level, but I'm trying to remember. I'm not even sure that he's quite as high as that. So here they call him a space god, but I think I'm reading that just to mean that he's exceedingly powerful. I mean, they talk about it. He is planning to devour Earth. To devour a whole planet is a very godlike ability. So that makes sense there. And then they mentioned the Silver Surfer. So I believe it's been confirmed that Julia Garner is going to be playing the Silver Surfer, not Norrin Rand, but actually, I believe it's it's another Silver Surfer. There's multiple in the comics. Norrin Rand is the main one that you'd think of, and I wonder if this Silver Surfer is going to be played most specifically for this universe. Probably not going to be the Silver Surfer that continues into Earth 616, continues into the MCU post Secret Wars. Or at least, I'm not going to say not the Silver Surfer. There's a number of different heralds of Galactus, so it's very possible that we'll see some different ones throughout this. I mean, there's one being that's basically energy, or there's Terax. I believe I got the name pronounced correctly there. And so lots of different options for who could be the current herald of Galactus. I just think that in this case, it's likely that they're going to plan on bringing Norrin Rand into the main MCU at some point in time, and they may want to keep this one separate. which explains kind of the unexpected casting and direction of the Silver Surfer. But that last sentence is honestly the part that intrigues me most. Because of the casting of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, what is going to make it personal? So let's read that last sentence again. I look this way to see the text, even though it's over here for you. And if Galactus planned to devour the entire planet and everyone on it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. That is odd. Like, that phrasing of it is odd because, I mean, I think there's a couple different ways you can read that. It can be read that Galactus's devouring and plan to devour is the element that is getting very personal. And what would make that personal? But the other side of things could be that personal, it suddenly gets very personal, is referring to something else. And this is where your Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom could play into it. But just from this, I've kind of been piecing together a little theory, an idea that, I don't know, I don't love it, but I'm also intrigued by it. Let's talk about what that idea is and might look like. So, the idea is that the personal element is both actually Doctor Doom and Galactus. That the reason Earth was selected to be devoured by Galactus is because Doom did something to call Galactus there. This would be like the kind of third act reveal of maybe like the true plot. That, oh, you thought you were just facing off against this giant space entity that is basically a space god? No, it was actually me. It was actually my doing. It was Doctor Doom who did it. You might ask, why would Doctor Doom do that? And I think this will be a theory that we discuss on this week's upcoming 10-minute Marvel, or the next one. But I think it could be a situation where Doom is planning to use and harness Galactus's power. The idea of Secret Wars, where you have this world that Doom puts together, pieces of different worlds that he puts together, that he rules over. I think that could be what this is leading towards, where you have Galactus, potentially, as the powerful being who is holding this battle world, this secret war world together, and that Doom is controlling. So to do that, he had to get Galactus to come to him, to be able to put him under his control. And I think this could lead to an interesting situation for the Fantastic Four, because you could have Reed have to help Doctor Doom. That Doom's plan isn't going to succeed. At least it's not going to work with the plan that Doom has. He has 98% of it, but there is a flaw in it. And it only is because of the hyper-focused mind of Reed Richards and his obsession with solving these problems, that it is able to be solved. His fixation on that. But that then creates additional personal problems. There's going to be a rift driven between Doom and Reed that may not be there to start the film. Along with that, there's going to be this damage done to this family element that they've talked about in here, where now Reed has had to spend so much time trying to solve this problem. And I think that could be an interesting story element. I think it could be a nice little twist to make it personal and to make it feel important, that it sets up everything. Why set it in this other universe? Besides the fact that you don't have a Fantastic Four set up in our universe yet. But, I mean, they laid groundwork that they could have used in WandaVision for it. Both with the scientist reference, but also with the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. referencing people on missions who disappeared when the snap occurred. So they definitely had a chance to set it up, but they chose not to. They chose to make it separate, which feels like they knew they had some sort of additional plan for the Fantastic Four that required them to come from a different universe, required them to be established. And I think it's because they didn't want to redo an origin story we've already seen twice and that hasn't necessarily been done super well. We're going to see some of that in flashbacks, but it also gives Marvel a chance to play in a different playground with different potential rules. They're able to create specific rules and expectations for this film. And to have Doom be the person pulling the strings in the very end, I think could be a really fun idea. But let me know your thoughts on that. What do you think of this original synopsis here? I expect we'll see something a little bit more fleshed out, at least as the trailers are coming out eventually. And there's been plenty of rumors too about Marvel casting or looking to cast a Franklin Richards for this film as well. So a number of things to think about and consider. Do you enjoy that kind of theory that Doom is the one who's getting Galactus there to be able to create his world in Secret Wars? And obviously, if you don't know the comics, this might be a little bit out there for you, but that's generally the plot of Secret Wars. So let me know that down in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this content, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're putting out videos daily, including news and rumor videos like this, Marvel trading card pack openings, Marvel comics, all sorts of different videos for you to join and check out. And if you want to hear our full conversation on this, like I said, it's going to be coming up on this next week's podcast. You can find the podcast here on YouTube. Click on the channel and then subscribe if you haven't already, and if you enjoy our content, obviously. And then the podcast tab is where you can find those podcasts, or you can find it wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcasts from. But with that, I'll see you next time.